Alright, so let's talk Fox bodies, let's talk Mustangs, pretty much my favorite topic. I've had a few conversations in the past with some people that aren't really into cars. I mean, they know the Mustang, they're not going to car shows, they're not racing, that's fine, and there's no problem with that. But they start talking about, oh, those 80s Mustangs, I don't like those 80s Mustangs, you know. And I look at them and it's like, you know, okay. And they say, oh, they're nothing like the original Mustang. And for me personally, when I thought about it, these cars embody what the original ones were more than any other, in my opinion. In the 60s, when the car came out, they were looking for a car that would appeal to the masses. It was going to be cheap. And they wanted a car for everybody. You get it with different options. You can get your coupe, you get your fastback, you get your convertible. And they based it off of a Falcon. So they were able to keep it cheap, and the Mustang sold like crazy. I believe it was 1 million units from 64 to 66. Have that wrong, feel free to put it in the comments down below. But I believe that's approximately what it was. So the 80s come along. They start working on this little Foxbody in 79. This car comes out. You've got your coupe, you've got your hatchback, very much the same as a fastback, and it's vertical. And they based it off the Fairmont. They kept the price low. All of a sudden these little cars were out on the road, they're nice and light, similar to the original. And they're working awesome. They're just fast. Everybody wants one. You have one of these in high school, you're the king. Everybody wants to go for a ride, you know. And I have a friend that bought a brand new 89. He was just a young guy at the time. He was able to get it out the door for 16,000 bucks. Something he could afford. You know, it had no power windows, no power locks, no power mirrors, but none of that matters. He was able to get himself, he was the envy of everybody. He had this little 5-liter, it's brand new, and I actually have a picture of him around somewhere with the car, hauling a snowmobile trailer with a new Yamaha VMAX in the back of it. And like I say, that guy was the king. I mean, he had it. He had the car, he still got it to this day. So when I think of the new cars are great. I'm not dissing on them in any way, but there's so much money to buy one. This to me embodies the spirit of what the original was about so much. Now these cars are going up in price like crazy, so I mean, so the other thing I like to talk about when somebody says that they don't like this style, the 80s style 5-liter, I say, well, you know, I've heard the arguments. Some of them look like a Tempo, some of them look like an Escort, and maybe that's the case rolling on a set of skinny little 14-inch 4-cylinder wheels, single curved exhaust pipe, you know what I mean. But you get the stance right on this car, it's rolling on a nice set of wheels, preferably something wide in the back. Those 2 chrome taillights and that 5-liter emblem on the fender, there's nothing meaner than this car. They're bad. So maybe they haven't seen them like that. Maybe they haven't. They still don't like it. So what I usually say to them is, you know, I like the car right from the start, but first time I drove one, that's where I fell in love with this car. That's what I tell the people who say, you know, that's nothing like the original Mustang. I'm like, you gotta drive one. Then you will fall in love with it. First one I drove, Hewley 5.0. So I had a carbureted 84 GT350. Had a lot of ups and downs with it. My first 5-liter car, made a lot of mistakes. Eventually sorted them out. The car worked not bad, and I had tons of fun with it. But a friend of mine had bought this 89 GT. It had 350,000 kilometers on it at the time. They thought the engine was seized. It turned out to be the smog pump was seized up, and everything was just so tight the engine wouldn't roll over. So he got that figured out, got the car on the road. But one night he wanted me to drive it for him. I had to take it to his house, and like I said, when I drove that car, I fell in love. And I had my GT350 for about 2 more weeks before I went out and got myself a fuel injected T-top. And the difference going to the roller cam EFI motor was just crazy. It was just incredible. And that's where I fell in love with these cars. I think that's where most people will. Like, I mean, if you're a young person today and you look at a Foxbody Mustang and maybe you kind of like it, maybe you don't, and think there's other options out there, my advice to you, drive one. Now, in today's standards, it's not the fastest thing on the road. For sure it's not. But the possibilities are endless. You never know what that 5 liter's got under the hood. It's easy to work on and you will have a ton of fun with it. So, you know, a lot of people don't like the LS swaps, but they'll hold an LS motor, they will hold the big block, either Chevy or Ford. I've seen both. Small block Ford, Coyote motor, Barra, Super engine, I believe. It fits just about everything under this hood. And you can find endless information on whatever you're doing. Almost everything has been done. I won't say everything has been done, but almost everything. I hope to come up with a few things that are different, showcase on this channel that you may not have seen before. Whether you're going to like them or not, I hope you like them, but we'll see whether it was good to do or bad. We'll find that out. But yeah, for the fun factor, that's what the Mustang's always been about, bang for the buck, and they sure are. If you can get yourself one, you know, relatively cheap, and start playing with it, you'll have a great time. If you're a young person out there, I say definitely test drive one. Find somebody selling one, take one for a drive, and you know, you'll probably be sold on it, unless the car's, you know, beat and not working very well, and that's possible. Today, these cars are now getting fairly old. You gotta find one that's been looked after a bit, not completely beat. So that's my take on the 80s Mustang versus the 60s Mustang, and I think they're more relevant than people give them credit for. While the new retro cars have incorporated a lot of heritage, to make the original feel of the car is embodied in these Fox bodies right here. That's my take on it. If you agree with me, put it in the comments down below. If you disagree with me, put it in the comments down below, and let's get talking about it. I just love to talk Fox bodies. If you guys were here, I would talk your ear off for hours. So, yeah. So hopefully, before too long, well, gotta wait for the snow to melt outside, but hopefully we'll do it the Altered Stang's way. We'll get the banging gears and laying rubber, and we're gonna lean on this car. We're gonna lean on it as much as we can. We're gonna put it right to it. So that's the way I do it. I'm not one to baby a car. They go up and say, make the first pass easy. That's not really my style. You know, say take it easy with it. I'm a big believer in just putting it to it, and we're going to find a weak spot, and then we'll build on it, we'll make it better. So, you know, if something breaks, I'll fix it. That's kind of how I like to do it. But I will do it as cheaply as possible, which you guys will see in future videos. And yeah, I don't have a whole lot of money to spend. My budget isn't great for these cars, but we'll do our best to keep them on the road, make them fast. So